Out here in the real world, far from glossy marketing brochures and overhyped modern cartridges, there is a truth most shooters eventually learn the hard way. Performance is not defined by whatever the industry pushes at trade shows, but by what consistently delivers when the shot matters. For decades, a whole generation was told that older calibers belong in museums, overshadowed by the latest high-velocity creations. But the deeper you dig into the history of American ballistics, the clearer it becomes that physics has not changed, and some cartridges never lost their edge. In fact, 2025 is shaping up to be the year when several forgotten calibers are clawing their way back into the mainstream. This review project dives straight into those sleepers, the rounds that shaped entire eras, fed families, defended frontiers, and quietly proved themselves long before social media existed. And the surprising part is that many of these so-called outdated calibers outperform modern favorites when placed in the right rifle and the right terrain. That is why today we are revisiting 5 legendary cartridges that are suddenly back in demand, not because of nostalgia, but because they still work better than expected. Some deliver unmatched penetration. Some offer soft recoil with shocking accuracy. And one of them, the final cartridge in this list, has returned so aggressively in 2025 that even seasoned hunters are rethinking what they thought they knew. Number 5. The 757 Mauser. To understand why this cartridge is making a comeback, you need to understand what it accomplished more than a century ago. Designed in 1892, it was the blueprint for modern smokeless hunting rounds. Objectively, the 757 offers a rare balance of flat trajectory, manageable recoil, and deep penetrating bullet performance. Most factory loads run in the 139 to 175 grain range. And even today, its sectional density is the benchmark many modern rounds still fail to match. Subjectively, the first thing you notice when you shoot it is how polite it feels. It pushes rather than punches, letting you stay on target and build confidence quickly. In the field, the round simply works on game of all sizes, and experienced hunters know the stories of Bell dropping elephants using nothing more than 175 grain solids. Pricing in 2025 varies wildly depending on brand and availability, running between $35 and $60 a box, and premium brass for reloaders can cost even more. But performance-wise, it is still one of the most efficient cartridges ever built. That efficiency is exactly why it is resurfacing among hunters who are tired of excessive recoil and unnecessary velocity. Transitioning to number 4, the 257 Roberts. Known for decades as the gentleman's cartridge, the Bob lives in a sweet spot few other quarterbores can match. Objectively, it bridges the gap between light varmint rounds and heavier mid-caliber deer cartridges. It hits harder than a 243, but avoids the sharper recoil of the 25-6. Subjectively, it feels effortless behind the trigger. New shooters, smaller-framed hunters, and anyone who dislikes muzzle jump often fall in love with the Bob after their first magazine. It is accurate, extremely forgiving, and deadly on medium game when paired with a 100-grain soft point. The downside, as always, is supply. You do not walk into a big box store expecting shelves of 257 Roberts. Availability remains limited, and boxes usually run from $50 to over $80, depending on the manufacturer. Still, for reloaders and traditionalists, this round delivers that classic, almost nostalgic performance that modern cartridges struggle to replicate. It is quietly regaining attention because it balances power and comfort better than almost anything else in its class. Sliding into number 3, the 4570 Government. If the first 2 calibers were refined tools, this one is a sledgehammer. Introduced in 1873, it has survived black powder, smokeless powder, and every ballistic trend in between. Objectively, the 4570 delivers massive energy at close to moderate ranges. Its slow, heavy slugs, from 250 to over 500 grains, carry momentum that brushes aside thick vegetation and muscle. Subjectively, this round does not whisper, it roars. When you touch off a heavy load from a lever gun, you feel it in your bones, and that is part of the appeal. Modern shooters rediscovered the 4570 because of the tactical lever gun revival, and today it is more popular than it has been in half a century. Prices vary depending on pressure tier. Standard hunting loads sit in the $50 to $80 range per box, while specialty or high-pressure loads can go well past $100. Despite its rainbow trajectory, it remains the king of brush country, bear country, and dangerous game at close quarters. The resurgence makes perfect sense. In thick cover, nothing hits harder. Now we pick up speed with number 2, the 264 Winchester Magnum. Before Creedmoor existed, before the 6.5 PRC made headlines, this was the original high-velocity Western cartridge. Objectively, the 264 Win Mag still outruns most of today's popular 6.5 rounds by a wide margin. Pushing light for caliber bullets past 3,000 feet per second, it was engineered for long cross-canyon shots where distance estimation is guesswork. Subjectively, it is thrilling. When the rifle is zeroed and the load is tuned, the flat trajectory feels like cheating. But there is a price. This cartridge has always been known as a barrel burner, and modern metallurgy only softens that reputation slightly. You do not take this round to the range every weekend. You take it hunting when the shot is long and the margin for error is small. Factory ammo is scarce and often expensive, ranging from $70 a box to well over $100. Reloaders keep this cartridge alive, and in 2025, its comeback is driven by shooters who want raw speed without jumping up to a brutal shoulder-pounding Magnum. In many ways, it is a forgotten gem finally receiving the appreciation it deserved all along. That brings us to number 1, the 35 Remington. This is the woodsman's cartridge, the blue-collar hammer that never needed hype to prove itself. Objectively, the 35 Rem sits right above the 30-30 in terms of energy, with a heavier 358 caliber bullet that delivers larger wound channels and more reliable stopping power in dense timber. Subjectively, this round feels like home for anyone who grew up hunting the eastern hardwoods. It is not flashy, not long range, and not meant for precision shooting at 400 yards. But inside 200, especially inside 150, it is devastating. It drops deer, hogs, and black bear with quiet authority. In 2025, its resurgence is tied directly to the revival of Marlin's lever guns and a renewed interest in practical, brush country rifles. The challenge remains finding ammunition. Prices typically fall in the $38 to $60 range when you can locate it, and reloaders often buy brass the moment it appears. Even with limited availability, the 35 Rem has climbed back into the spotlight because real hunters know what it does. It makes meat, it anchors animals quickly, and it keeps working generation after generation. So there you have it, a full look at 5 classic calibers that refuse to fade away. In a world distracted by new releases and trendy cartridges, these survivors stand as proof that ballistic performance is earned, not advertised. If this deep dive helped you appreciate the old-school rounds that built our hunting heritage, do something that genuinely helps the channel. Drop a comment, ask a question, or tell me which forgotten caliber you still trust in the woods. I read every one of them, and your engagement helps Scoper 360 Degrees keep bringing honest, experience-driven content to shooters who care about the truth behind the trigger. Until next time, shoot straight and stay sharp.